What's going on, everyone? You are listening to Investify. My name is Craig Curelop, aka the Fi Guy, and I'm here with my co-host Zeona McIntyre, aka Z Money. How you doing today, Z?
I am doing great. This is going to be a fun show because it's just us. We are going to be shooting it around, like Craig likes to say.
We're going to be shooting it around. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but we're trying to keep it PG.
Love it.
And yeah, I think this might be like the first. Have we ever done an episode like this before, Z?
No. And so I think it's going to be really interesting. We wanted to just give an update on our portfolios, on our investment strategies, frequently asked questions people are kind of bringing in the investment space, and just talk about how the market is changing. It is changing rapidly, especially with the interest rates going up. And so I think people are having some questions that we'd like to address.
Yeah, let's not spoil too much of the episode here. Let's get right into it.
Sure. Hey guys, if you're thinking about becoming a real estate agent like us, you might want to go to Kaplan. That's where I got my license, and I found that they made all this really dull information actually kind of interesting and very memorable. So if you're looking at getting your license, see if they have your state. They cover a lot of states, but not all of them. And if you want to get a little discount, use our code INVEST2. So the word invest and the number 2. Thanks, guys.
You're listening to Investify, preaching financial independence and assisting investors to achieve a more flexible and free lifestyle through smart financial planning and real estate investing. If leaving the corporate world and jumping into this thriving industry is what you desire, tune in and listen to stories of like-minded individuals who made the leap to financial independence. Equip yourself with the right tips and tricks to start your real estate journey, making active or passive ventures that are highly profitable and rewarding. Here are your hosts, Craig Curelop and Zeona McIntyre.
All right, Z Money, give us a quick update on your life, on your portfolio, on everything that you got going on.
Everything. Well, I am sitting in a pet sit, as you know, in Dillon, Colorado. So this is a ski town outside of Denver. It's about an hour and a half away. And I am doing what I always do, just enjoying life, but living in other people's homes. So that is one of the ways that we house hack, is that we pet sit, my partner and I, and we're renting out our house on Airbnb, and it's doing freaking fantastic. Last year, Airbnb was supposed to be at the all-time high, but actually I'm seeing some really great rates come through this year. And so we're really excited for the high summer season and what we're going to be getting. So that's a little bit of a life update.
How much are you renting your place out for while you're gone?
Well, so we're still on the cusp season, because right now as we're recording, it's mid-April. But we just are starting to see bookings rolling in for summer, which is our high time. And we've seen some bookings in the $400 a night range. And
wow.
So yeah, to give people perspective, our mortgage is only $2,100, maybe $2,200 when we've got everything said and done with the HOA. And we can get that in a week. So that's pretty wild. Yeah.
So what is this place that you live in? Is it a 2-bed, 2-bath? Is it a mansion? I know it sounds like it's a condo.
Yeah, well, it's a townhome. Okay, excuse you. That's fancier. We have a 3-bedroom townhome in Boulder, in the cheap part of town. So let's just keep our frugal roots. But we're excited that we got it. We got it in COVID in 2020, and it has increased just dramatically. I think we paid $429, and it's probably worth close to $600,000 right now, $600,000. So yeah, we're sitting pretty, but it's one of those weird things where you feel like, well, we'll never leave because we're priced out of our market now. So
yeah, it's funny. It's funny how much it's gone up in the past couple of years, and I almost feel the same way. It's like, oh, it's so hard to go and buy houses that were once 300 or 400,000, and now they're trading at like 600 plus. And so, that kind of leads into maybe one of our questions, which was like, what do we do with these market conditions? Like, is it overpriced? Are we, or is it just kind of the nature of how the market goes over time?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it is kind of just the nature. So for me, the way that I'm looking at my investing horizon, which I am actually under contract as we speak on a new Airbnb property, is that if the numbers work with the projections to the best of our abilities to project, I'm still buying, and it's kind of like our guest Scott Trench that was a few episodes back said that he was dollar cost averaging. So he's just kind of thinking that sometimes you're going to buy at the high, sometimes you're going to buy at the low. Lots of times you're just buying in the middle somewhere. And that's the way it is. But we're all riding that escalator up over time. And you got to keep buying. You got to be in the game to ride it up.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this property that you're buying? Like, where is it? And let's do your like for real deal.
The for real deal.
I wish I knew how many deals it was. And P.S., it's feeling like you are interviewing me, so we're going to come back to you. Don't think you're getting off the hook, buddy.
I'm trying to get off the hook here. Yeah, I'm trying to shift. It's all on you, Z. That's what everybody says.
Okay. Well, so this property is in Washington in a little town called Union that's close to the Sound. And it's about an hour and a half from Seattle. So what I am hoping for is that there has been a trend in Airbnb recently where people are wanting to be in more of a retreat kind of scenario. They want to leave the city and they want to work from home, but with more spaciousness. And so I'm hoping our cutie, it's a little cute cabin, is going to feel like a great retreat where people can go kayaking and go down to the beach and just relax with their family. And we're positioned really well because Seattle is a really high income area. And so you don't need to use your finger, bro. I know you're going to ask a question.
I'm about to ask a question. I got lots of questions.
You're about to ask a question. Okay. Well, so I like to be in areas where people are making high income. I have come from managing some properties in low income areas, and the kind of guests you get sometimes are rough. So I'm feeling excited about these techie Seattleites. I don't know what you call Seattle people.
Seattleites. Seattleites sound about right. Yeah, they sound like aliens. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Union, Washington. I've never heard of this place.
I know. So many people have never heard of it.
Is this a place where people from Seattle like to retreat to? It's more of kind of like, hey, if you live in Seattle, it's cool to like escape out. Maybe it's kind of like Dillon, Colorado, where like maybe no one's really heard of that. But, if you live in Denver, everyone knows of it. And so Is it kind of like that?
Well, so there's a lot of cute little towns next to the Sound. And so there's lots of little islands and little like hamlets, I guess you could call them. And so Union is just one of them. So most people that I mention Union to have not heard of it, but there's a famous hotel. I think it's called the Alderbrook or something. And every time I mention that hotel, everybody's like, oh my gosh, yes. So it's right near that hotel, and that hotel books up way in advance. And so we're hoping to be overflow. And that could be great. Yeah. Okay, so you want to dig deep into the numbers?
No, I don't want to dig. I don't want to get to the numbers yet. I want to know how the heck you found this place. You throw a dart in a map or what?
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes when I just get hungry for properties, I'm just like searching around on Zillow or Redfin. And I developed this idea that I was going to look for unique or remarkable properties with a view, or that they had some kind of experience or whatever. Just because I'm seeing the trend in Airbnbs to be more rural or unique. People want to stay in an Idaho potato. They want to stay in a treehouse. So trying to find those types of properties. So basically, I just put in the keyword unique. And then I was just searching all over the entire United States. So as you can imagine, that is some deep, deep geekitude, because that takes a long time. But I stumbled upon a lot of great properties, and I'm actually starting to put out a subscription where people can get 3 properties a week that are doing high numbers, high projections on Airbnb.
Okay. Do you use like AirDNA to kind of like, or do you use any sort of data tools to run your numbers? Or so what do you do there? So, okay, you found like 3 cities, Union, Dillon, Colorado, and some other place in Idaho, Potato, Idaho. So
Yeah.
what do you go from there?
So we had talked about this the other day. Remember when I said that you want to see at least 15% on the purchase price versus the gross income? Mm-hmm. So I am looking for 25% net return. And so I realized through doing a bunch of number crunching that if I get at least 15% gross income, so that return on what the price is that you're paying versus what it can make on gross, then the numbers are probably going to be 25% or more. And so I have a little spreadsheet where we crunch those numbers on everything. And then I'll go in a little bit deeper and say, is this a neighborhood that's legal? Like, do they do Airbnb here and all that? So that's kind of how my process looks. And I'm just trying to expedite that for people so they're not having to do as much work as I'm doing. Super cool.
So Union sounds like it meets their 15% rule. Okay, so now let's get into the numbers a little bit on it. So, purchase price, you know the deal.
Yes. So we bought this property we are buying this property. I'm buying it with a partner as well, and I'm buying it through a 1031 exchange. So we can also talk about that. But this property is $440. And we are going to have, the mortgage is still like, I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I think it will be, I wish I had all these numbers. We might have to come back to this, but I think it'll be around 2,700. There's no HOA. And then we're supposed to be cash flowing at least 1,600 a month after all expenses are said and done. Yeah.
Okay,
what other
cool.
numbers are there?
So I guess what is this? Let's talk a little bit about you're going to cash flow $1,600 a month estimated. And so obviously that's going to be split between you and your partner. So $800 a piece.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so why go in with this on a partner? What did the partner bring to the table here?
Yes. So we owned a property together in St. Louis that we had bought for $69,000. We are now selling that property for $125,000, which is awesome. And so we have about $70,000 in equity to take off the table. And that property, even though it was great and doing good returns, it was only really making us about $250 each in cash flow per month. So it's already a win that we can take that money over with our 1031 exchange, tax deferred, and buy this property. But the extra bonus is that we're going to buy a second property, and we haven't identified that property yet, but that's the power of the 1031 exchange. So it's how your real estate buys you more real estate. So yeah, we're really excited because that $250 a month that we were cash flowing is now going to become $800 at least. I'm hoping that it's going to be really $1,000 each. And then maybe it's going to be another property that will be another $1,000 each. So that's pretty killer. I'm excited.
Okay. Let me just kind of get all these numbers straight. So you're taking $70,000 and that's after you pay your realtor and after all that stuff that in St. Louis. You're going to take $70,000 and use that on a down payment for this $440,000 property. Yep. Are you doing 20% down?
No, we're only doing 10. So that's why we'll have 10 for the other side. Yeah.
Okay. So are you buying this as a secondary home?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is that kind of a way, to get around the 20 or 25% down in these different markets? So I know you've got property in Florida and St. Louis and in Colorado and now Washington. And so because they're so far apart, you can buy multiple second homes at this 10% down rate. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So you need to be 100 miles apart is usually what a lender requires. And so you can have unlimited 10% down second homes, but they used to have a better interest rate and now they don't have as good of an interest rate. So that's okay. But as long as your numbers work, your numbers work.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so so the fact that you can just buy this property 10% down is one thing. And so now it sounds like you actually have some money left over. And you said you're buying a second property with that?
Yes. So we just decided we could put all that equity in one, have a lower payment, but why not stretch ourselves and really try to get the most cash flow we can get? So we are looking for another property around 400 to 500,000, and we'll have to bring a little bit of money to the table. But yeah, we feel excited about it. And the property we are selling, it has money in its bank account already. So we were just going to use that money to buy the furniture for the new property. And the last super cool bonus is that when you're an agent, I'm actually getting a kickback. I'm getting a referral fee. I don't know why I did air quotes because it actually is a referral fee. But I'm getting a referral fee for ourselves, basically, for this new property that we're buying. So I get a little 25% of the agent's commission. So it's like a bonus to buy property.
Yeah, it's a bonus to buy another. Yeah, no, I love that. Okay, and so I guess, some people are hesitant, some people, there's debate that goes around about whether you should partner or not. Obviously you're in the boat of you should partner because you are partnering. So let's say, like, how did you come to the decision that you wanted to partner? How did you find this partner? I know you guys did a deal in St. Louis, but how did you convince them to do that deal with you in St. Louis?
Yeah. So Dave and I know each other from the Circuit Center in Boulder. So I used to do
Circuit Center?
Circus. Like
circus. Okay. For some reason you said Circuit Center and I was thinking Circuit City. Damn, you are old. But I'm the old one because clearly my mind is all over the place. So
I just want to say that because I think people think that you have to meet partners in these like really specific areas, but like honestly, you can meet a partner anywhere. So we met at basically a yoga class, and I've known Dave now for many years, and we own 2 properties together, and now we're going to own, it's going to be 3 altogether. So I brought him on because he works at an aerospace company and has a easy W-2 job. And so I, at the time, couldn't get a mortgage. And I was like, great, I get to split the risk of doing this new scary thing. And I can have somebody in it that's going to get the mortgage and I won't have to deal with it. So yeah, it was a great win-win. I've definitely done a lot of partnerships and I'm a big fan of it.
Nice.
With the right partner.
With the right partner. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. And you seem to structure those all 50-50. Do you have an LLC for each property or do you just have one LLC for your partnership?
Yeah, we don't even have an LLC. We did at the beginning and we decided to disband it. And now we just use umbrella policies. So we don't have an LLC for that.
What
Even
happens
though
if your partnership?
you and I, Craig, we have an LLC.
We have an LLC. But what happens if your partnership goes south and Dave runs away with all your money?
It would be hard for Dave to do that because I'm the one who manages all the bookkeeping. I would be the one who'd run away, essentially.
Okay. Dave doesn't care.
Dave the home. Yeah, Dave's just a trusting outside guy. So
Dave makes enough money, it sounds like, from his W-2. So
yeah. Cool. Okay. So unless you have more questions about this particular deal, I am going to turn the tables on you, buddy.
So I could go for hours, but I'll let you turn the tables.
Great. Okay, first, let's get a little Craigie life update.
Okay, so I think a lot of people know there's actually been a lot of life changes for me in the past, say, 6 months. I am now a married man. We moved to Potato Land of Idaho. Don't come here. It's horrible. No one, it's just kidding. It's really nice. But, so we bought our kind of like our forever home here. So, we're still house hacking it technically, but the intent to buy this home was not to house hack it. We just purchased it and we've got an extra basement that we're renting out to somebody for now until we kind of grow into the house.
Yes. I love that you did air quotes about forever home because as a house hacker, I don't know that there's ever a forever home. So let's just say that.
Yeah, I call it a forever home because our intent is to have it forever, but you know how life goes. I can't predict 5 years out or 2 years out, never mind like forever. So,
and you guys haven't been in a home more than like 6 months. For a long time. So you'll probably get sick of it in like 8 months.
Like literally since both me and Grace, since high school, we have not lived in the same place for like more than a year. And so we're just like, so we get this itch a lot. So hopefully we don't, the intent is not to get the itch to move, but yeah. So those are big things. So yeah, our house hacking is kind of coming to an end, but I think it's kind of a happy conclusion, right? That's the chapter, because I've done, 5 house hacks. Grace has done 2. So together we've got 7 just house hacks. That doesn't include the other parts of our portfolio. And that just the house hacks itself, if we did nothing else, would provide us kind of that baseline financial independence. And, now we're going to be, we're kind of, again, we're moving to that next, no one wants to house hack forever. So we're kind of moving on to that next part of life.
Yeah. But, will you ever stop house hacking? I feel like you guys will just like build an ADU or something.
There's probably always something. Yeah. I mean, we're literally like, we bought a house on 5 acres because in Idaho, if you have a house on 5 acres, you can build like 2 structures. They could have to be like not permanent structures, so like a tiny home or like something like that, where you could actually Airbnb those out. And so definitely in the back of our minds, but again, it might be later down the road.
Wow. Okay. First off, I'm blown away that you got 5 acres in Idaho, because I've looked in Coeur d'Alene just a little bit and it's expensive. It is crazy. We're out there.
Yeah, we're in Post Falls, which is just outside of Coeur d'Alene. We're about 15 minutes from downtown Coeur d'Alene, just south of the Spokane River, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it wasn't super cheap, but our thought was most people have never heard of Coeur d'Alene, and it is becoming more and more popular every month. People are starting to move here and all that, and so we could wait 3 years to buy this property and buy it for $500,000 more, or we just buy it now. And so our intent there was like, okay, let's just buy this thing now and we can have the appreciation while we own it versus rather when someone else owns it.
You're a smart cookie, bud. I like it.
I try.
Okay. So with high interest rates and just kind of the market uncertainty, how do you feel about your new purchase and what kind of deals are you looking to do?
Yeah, so we squeaked in on this one with a 3.25% interest rate. I think that's as low that like I think we just by the hair on our chinny chin chins did we get that one, right? So right now I am selling one of my problem properties. So no one, if you're listening to this, buy it. But I'm not going to give you the address. But selling one of my problem properties, and you're going to use the funds that I get from that to probably, I don't know if I want to purchase another thing in Denver, or I honestly might go your route and try to find kind of like a cool Airbnb destination just so we can kind of pump up the cash flow. Yeah. That's not like my main focus by any means. But really what we want, I just don't want to have money sitting while, inflation is happening and all this kind of stuff. So we're thinking about doing that. We're also doing some multifamily syndications. That's where most of my focus is right now, and just trying to find deals. I'm looking in Louisville, Kentucky at the moment, and just kind of starting to underwrite and analyze deals that way. So that's kind of what's next in the, in the rental property space for me.
That is very exciting. So tell us a little bit, why is this a problem property? What makes a property a problem?
Okay, so I purchased this property in 2020. I did a big renovation to it and basically made the single family home kind of into a triplex. This whole story will take the remainder of our episode, so I'm going to cut to a few points. Sure. So I did this massive rehab, and I kept getting in trouble with the city because the prior owner did not pull permits. And so I had to continually get this thing up to code. Finally, I get it up to code. It's good. The city likes it. We're there. And about 2 months ago, the tenants come to me and they say, hey, there's a crack by the basement window over here. And I was like, uh-oh. And so for those of you listening, when you see cracks by windows and door frames, typically that means there's a structural issue. And so I brought over the structural engineer. They're like, yeah, I think you might have an issue, but let's just watch it. A week later, I get a call again. Hey, this crack is getting a lot worse. Like, it's moving fast. So we're like, uh-oh. Get a structural engineer. We tear down the drywall, and we see a massive, massive crack right diagonal through the entire east side of the foundation. So seems like we need to fix that. So we fixed that. It's about a $50,000 expense that I fixed it.
Oh my God.
And this is just the beginning. Yeah, like come on, we're not even in the previews yet. And so now, so I fixed that.
Hey everyone, big news. Investify has now partnered with Rent Ready. And yes, we've partnered with Rent Ready because that is the software system that both me and Zeona use to do property management for our rental properties. It makes things super easy. We can send applications, get background checks and credit checks. Tenants, when they come in, can pay rent automatically through there. They can submit maintenance requests, do everything you need to do for property management all in one place. That's why Rent Ready is the thing that we've done. I've been using them for years now. And that's why we reached out to them for a relationship on the show. And so again, super excited to have them on board. If you go to rentready.com and use the code Investify, you'll get 50% off your first 6 months. That's right. 50% off your first 6 months. If you go to rentready.com, sign up and use the coupon code INVEST2FI. And can't wait to see you there. Let us know, hit us up on Instagram, hit us up on wherever, and let us know what you think of Rent Ready. Because again, I think it's an amazing software. I use it all the time. You can access it from your phone. Amazing stuff. So thanks so much. And let's get back to the episode.
The structural engineer comes back and she starts to notice other things kind of throughout so that wall we fixed was on the east side of the house. Now on the north side of the house and on the south side of the house, she's noticing some other movement. And so they cut holes in the drywall to see what's behind the drywall. And there's just cracks that you can literally put your hand through. So just major structural issues with the house. I mean, the house is beautiful, but it's barely standing, right? And so,
no.
yeah. So now we're talking, hundreds of thousands of dollars in structural repair, potentially. At least those are the one quote I got. We're still getting more quotes. So this is still like in process right now. And so, so we're moving through that. What I may end up doing is just kind of selling it to a wholesaler and saying, hey, like the house is beautiful, but there's an issue. Whoever wants to solve this problem will have a great cash flowing property. So, and obviously I'm going to be selling it for way less than what it's worth. So, I think like it might be kind of like the win-win here. I never thought I'd be selling my property to a wholesaler, but this might be the case. It's not all bad. One silver lining is that I talked to the seller because the drywall was stamped like December of 2017, which is like right as he bought the property, which made me think that, hey, like this guy knew about this. He like saw the structure and just hit it with the drywall. And he claims to not have known about it because he's purchased lots of properties and he didn't ever even looked at this one. And it would be almost impossible to prove that whether he knew about it or not. His contractor probably knew about it, but his contractor is broke. So I could sue the contractor, but I'm not going to get anything except a massive legal bill. So that was kind of out of the works. But he said like out of like kind of, the kindness of his heart. And so he can actually go to sleep at night. He was actually willing to write me a check for like 90 grand to help me with some of these costs.
Whoa, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah. So
what a nice
silver lining. Yeah, so definitely like a really nice thing, and I'm super, super grateful. I haven't seen it yet. He's like, we're in the process of getting his lawyer to write up a release so that, he can send it over. But again, super grateful that he's planning on doing this. And then, so once we get there, that will help me stomach some of the losses that I'll take from this property. But even with that 90,000, I don't think I'm going to come out ahead. And so, yeah, I'm just totally... but that's it, right? So that's why I'm selling this one. I suspect I'll have 100 to 200, maybe 200 grand to then go and invest somewhere else. And so that's where that's where I'll probably be like, Z, how was your realtor in Union? How's Union doing for you? Yeah, maybe we'll be neighbors.
Yeah,
we can hang out on the sound together.
I can give you my trusty list. So yeah, just check in then. Great. Well, man, that is like super exciting. I feel like you just don't tell us all these crazy stories. Like we're just like, nothing's going on.
Yeah.
In the background, you're having like huge trials and tribulations.
This has all happened in the past week, by the way. Like almost all of, yeah. Well, like, so the structural thing was like, I think I mentioned that before, but, and I even did a TikTok on it, but the new like learning that the other parts of the house were bad have all happened about in the past 7 to 10 days. So, yeah, it's been craziness.
You are a trooper. So, okay. Do you want to talk about these multifamily syndications, or do you feel like you want to save that until you guys are ready to share it with the world?
I mean, if you have any questions or anything on syndication, like I feel like I'm very well researched at this point, and now it's just a matter of action. And so, again, we're actively talking to brokers or actively analyzing deals. It's just, it's hard to find one that pencils in this market, especially with rising interest rates, right? Like the numbers look significantly worse with these rising rates. So, yeah, I think that may have a trickle down effect into the multifamily, into the single family space too. With rising rates, people just aren't going to be able to afford as much, which is going to put a damper on the housing. Don't suspect a crash, but just like, hey, my house, I maybe could have got 700 for it back in January or February, but maybe you're talking 675 now, right?
Yeah, and I think the thing that people don't realize about the way that it trickles down is that first prices of homes go up and then rents follow. So rents lag behind. So a lot of people think, well, gosh, I can't really afford to buy this house where it's going to be $2,000 per bedroom, because I am actually dealing with that right now in Boulder, where 2 bedrooms are around $600,000, which is wild. But then people don't realize that eventually their rents that they're thinking, oh, well, my rent's cheaper than that, I'm going to just stay in my rental. That's not going to stay that way. So you still generally come out ahead if you buy something and if you buy smart. So just want people to have that in their minds. Yeah. Okay. Well, what else do you think we should cover today, Mr. Curelop?
Yeah, well, I can give a quick update. I think we're kind of like doing some fun stuff with the FI team.
Great.
So, yeah, some of the feedback that we've gotten at the FI team, some of our amazing agents, is that, they want to see more training, they want to see more leads, they want to see all this kind of stuff. And so, if you're an investor or anybody moving to the Denver area, definitely hit us up, obviously. But, there's only so much we can do with investors. And so now we're starting to branch out into kind of the traditional residential space. And so I actually just finished a book called How to Buy a Home in Denver. And there will be a way to get access to that. I haven't figured that out yet. But our awesome team will get you access to that. And so basically, we're basically, building a funnel for people who are looking to buy residential homes, can use some of us and all that. And so, I'm working with a coach now, and it's super exciting. I feel like we've got some clarity. I know where we're going, and super excited to kind of get up and running there. And yeah, so things are moving along nicely, and I am very excited.
Great. Well, just so people know, I am also writing a book. So my book is going to be published through Bigger Pockets, and I'm writing it with Sarah Weaver. We have gotten the green light and we are mostly done. We've got just edits to go at this point, but that book should be coming out on medium-term rentals in the winter. So hopefully this can be a Christmas list item for all of you guys, but we'll give you updates as things come up. And we will be teaching a section on medium-term rentals at the Bigger Pockets conference. So that is not for sale yet, but it should be in the coming months. And so we hope to see you there, because Craig will probably be there too.
I will be there.
Great. I love it. Okay, so just for our final section before we maybe go into the final part of our show, this is such an unusual show. It's hard to say what we're going to do. But I was hoping that we could talk a little bit about how to make offers competitive in this market. So do you have some things that you're doing with your team, Craig?
Yeah, so, you definitely want to get with your lenders, I would say, is step one, because sellers are really wanting fast closes. And so ask your lender, don't say, how long does it take you to close? Because they'll say 30 days. Say, can you close in 2 weeks? Can you close in 3 weeks? Right? Give them that, because when you friend in that way, it's almost kind of like a pride point for them. Like, yeah, we can close in 3 weeks. right? But if you give them the option, they're going to want to close in 4 because they got a handful of other people that want to close in 3. You want to be in that list of people that close in 3. So that's step 1, is make sure you can close quickly. Step 2 is you definitely need to craft your offer in a way that is appealing to the seller. So, you got to go above asking, right? We always make sure we call the selling agent to make sure, our offer is competitive. Very limited on the inspection, appraisal waiver. And one thing that we've been doing more and more of is that we rush the appraisal. So we waive the appraisal, but then we pay for the rush fee. It's probably an extra $500 for the client to rush it. You get it back in a couple days. So then you can make the decision based on the inspection whether you want to move forward with it or not. And so, it just gives you a little bit more weight and a little bit more decision making before that deadline actually hits. And so that's one way we're kind of able to get offers accepted, right? And I'd say the market is lighting up a little bit. We're seeing a little bit more inventory. Like January and February was mayhem. But yeah, so that's kind of like some things that we're doing. But again, it really is a bloodbath out there, and you have to just stick with it and don't get too discouraged. What about you, Z? Anything that any special sauce you got?
Yeah, so on that quick close thing, a lot of lenders are now offering cash programs where you can initially offer in cash, and that can allow you to do a very quick close. In Colorado, you can close in 10 days with cash, and then they'll refinance you after. Unfortunately, it's a little bit more expensive because now you're paying closing costs twice. But if that's the only way to get your offer accepted, then it's something to look into. And there are a few other companies that do cash programs. So you can kind of look into that as well. But because of that, it does make cash a little bit less valuable because there are so many cash programs out there that it's brought a lot more cash buyers to the table. And so it's not that cash is king as much as it used to be. So just know that as well. Yeah, I think that's kind of my main tip. I think you really brought a lot of good stuff. The only other thing that I've seen some of my agents doing is that they'll sometimes make the earnest money hard. So what that means is that in general, you're bringing earnest money to the table that says, I'm putting this money up as a risk because I'm serious and I'm going to buy this property. And then you can make some of that hard is what they call it, but it basically just means non-refundable. So you can say, hey, $2,000 of this is non-refundable if we leave the deal. And it's just kind of saying, we're serious, we're going to follow this through. So that is something that you could do. But yeah, that's, I think, all of it.
Yeah, I think that's, I'm sure there's tons of creative ways to do it, right? We have our ways, but there's probably ways that we've missed. So definitely, just think of any ways to get creative. Another thing that I heard of actually is maybe you have figure out what the seller may need help with, right? So if the seller is moving, maybe you say, hey, why don't I pay for your moving costs? $2,000, is it worth buying a house for an extra $2,000, right? Or you go help them, literally go there and help them move or something, just figure out some sort of way that you could help them out. Don't ask them, how can I help you? Because you're giving them a job by asking them and making them think how you can help them. But think of ways that you potentially can help them, and maybe you put that in the contract.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing that we've both used is post-occupancy agreements. And so sometimes people need a little more time in their home. Maybe it's because they're buying a home and then they're going to go, or they're selling their home, then they're going to go buy a home. And so they might need an extra 2 months in their home. And so you can give them that for free. And so it's just something to kind of check in on and see what they actually need.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Love it.
All right. Well, do you want to do the final 4 questions?
Yeah, hell yeah. Do you want to just both rock it out? We can both do it.
Sure. Let's do it.
The final 4.
And I'm going to ask Craig and then I'll answer too. So Craig, what are you reading right now?
I am in between books, believe it or not. I just finished Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. And I just realized I finished all of the Ryan Holiday books without even intentionally doing so. So I've now read his entire series. But yeah, that was a really good book. It was about, just about ways to be more courageous and kind of thinking about how we're meant to be more courageous and doing things that may be hard, but it's still the right thing to do, even in hard moments. So yeah, it was a good book. How about you, Z? What are you reading?
I like it. I am reading Doc G's book, Taking Stock. So that's kind of what I'm reading right now. I'm also reading Ishmael, which is like a spiritual book, but I just found it in, it's like The Spiritual Teacher That's a Gorilla. Have you not read that book? It's
I've heard
a
of
famous
Ishmael, but I feel like that's just like a Bible name or something. So I think that's why I've heard of it.
Okay. Well, it's pretty well known. So I'm reading that too, but really what I'm reading is Taking Stock. And so we have Doc G coming up in a few episodes. And he talks about financial independence and just figuring out what is going to make you happy in life and not just focus on money. So it is a pretty great book, and I'm only in the beginning stages, but yeah, we'll have more on that in a couple of shows.
Woo! All right, Z, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Ooh, it's funny because I knew that was coming and I don't have something ready for it. Let me think about it. Do you have yours?
The thing that always comes back to me is not even a piece of advice that I can remember from anybody that gave it to me, but it was a quote that I read in Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek that just said, you are, now I'm going to butcher the exact wording, but basically he says something along the lines of, your worth is based on the amount of uncomfortable situations you put yourself in. And I think that line just hit me in the right place at the right time. And so just getting used to feeling uncomfortable was something that I wasn't used to doing. But after reading that sentence, I was like, I'm going to go do something random. And I went up to a random girl and asked her for a number on the subway. And just did these things.
Now I'm worth more.
Now I'm worth, and it wasn't, I didn't even care to have her number. I never texted her or anything, but just that, that feeling of, ooh, I'm kind of uncomfortable. I want to go just kind of living in that has really allowed my career and stuff to grow and feel like I'm more courageous, which is fitting for the book that I just finished reading.
I love it. It's interesting because my best piece of advice is also going to be around worth. I am in a program right now where it's kind of like an accountability group, but maybe it's also like a mastermind. And I'm doing this program on finance right now, just kind of like figuring out your finances, improving your finances. And he talked about how your self-worth actually leads your net worth and not the other way around. So a lot of times people feel like, well, when I have $1 million, I'm going to feel like a better person. I'm going to feel more worthy. But actually that you need to feel worthy first, and that will actually help you grow your net worth. And so that really hit home where I was like, whoa, I think I've been thinking about it all backwards.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thermostat. I've heard the thermostat, the financial thermostat or whatever it is. It's you need to dial that, you're going to dial that thermostat up to $1 million net worth before the temperature in the room hits the $1 million, right? You're going to dial that thing up to 72 degrees before it hits 72 degrees. And so that is another thing as well. I feel as though I was living, prior to discovering real estate and financial independence, I was living in a middle class to lower middle class mindset of spend everything I make, right? And a lot of people, but anyone listening to this show, I can almost guarantee you is living in the millionaire mindset. Whether you're a millionaire yet or not, your thermostat is dialed there. Now you just have to let the room heat up and keep making progress towards it.
Oh man, that's some wisdom bombs. Oh. Okay, question number 3. What is your why?
What is my why? I want to make tons of money. I'm just kidding.
Well, you're probably not fully kidding. We know we do now.
No, honestly, I've been grappling with this a lot, and I feel like my why has changed quite a bit. Initially, it was to travel and to live a free life and all that, and now I kind of have hit that baseline financial independence, maybe a little bit more, and I haven't done any traveling or anything like that. So, things are changing. We're thinking of starting a family soon and all that. So really it's just making sure that I can take in every moment, with my wife, with my future kids, with my, parents that are growing older, and having just kick-ass memories with some of my kick-ass friends, and, just living kind of a badass life and without money being a huge issue.
I think my why is around impact. It's I'm not intending to have a big family. I have some nephews and stuff like that, and I have a lot of chosen family of friends. But for me, I just want to help as many people as I can achieve a life of freedom where they're doing it on their own terms. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I think about when I'm doing meetings and when I'm planning content and when I'm writing a book. How many people can I reach? How many people can I help? So that is the motivator.
Love it. I love it. And you're making a big difference, Z.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have a silly question for us?
I don't even have a silly question yet. Sorry, I got so into it. All right. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, so I don't really do karaoke because it scares me, but I feel like if I did, I would be either Mustang Sally. That feels like a good one.
What is that? Sing it.
Yeah. No, you should listen to it sometime. It's a very karaoke song. And then, there's something else, but I can't think of it right now. Okay. What about you? Go-to karaoke song.
My go-to karaoke song is either Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield, which, believe it or not, I can't sing for shit. But for some reason, I can sing that song really good. So there's that song.
I'm gonna go to karaoke with you.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's that song by the Spice Girls? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Tell me what you want,
Tell me what you want.
Oh, is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yes.
That song I feel like would be a pretty hype karaoke song too. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a lot of laughs. I really enjoyed that.
I'll have to go to karaoke sometime. See.
Oh my God, totally.
All right. Well, where can people find out more about us?
Yeah, well, Instagram is the best place for me. I'm at Zeona McIntyre. Haven't changed it to Z Money yet. Probably won't, but reach out to me there. I answer all my DMs, and yeah, I just like getting people's questions because we use them and we answer them.
She hear that? She answers all her DMs. So every single person listening to this, DM Z and tell her to change it to Z Money. Yeah.
Oh my God. I did have somebody reach out to me the other day and ask for that. So that was cool.
Really?
I was like, oh
That's
my God,
amazing.
people are listening.
Yay. That's amazing. Yeah. And you can find me at the Fi Guy. I think you guys know by now, on Instagram, on TikTok, and all those fun places. And that was us. Z, what'd you think about us?
I had a lot of fun. I thought that was a good episode, and I didn't really know where it was going to go, but it was cool that we both got to do a little deep dive. I think the people got a lot out of it.
Yeah, I think this episode was pretty fun. If you guys wouldn't mind maybe just leaving us some sort of feedback on this kind of episode. Did you like just me and Z? If so, we'll do more of it. Otherwise, if you like the guests more, we can bring them on too. I get it. It's not all about us.
Won't hurt our feelings.
It won't hurt our feelings. We like to interview the guests too, so they're not going to go away permanently. But we kind of like work these in, maybe once every couple months or something like that. So yeah, definitely let us know. Again, the Fi Guy or Zeona McIntyre on Instagram. And if you wouldn't mind, please leaving a rating and review on iTunes. That really, really helps the show kind of reach more and more people. Share this with your friends. Do all the things that you love to do, like sharing our episode. And yeah, Z, anything else before we get out of here this week?
I would also love it if you guys have some cool tips on how to make offers more competitive. Reach out to us and let us know so we can share it with the community. So you can reach out to us on Instagram with that.
Boom shakalaka. We'll see y'all next week.
That's it for this episode of Investify. We hope that these nuggets of real estate wisdom lead to more savvy financial planning and a clearer path towards financial freedom. For more content like this, subscribe to the show at investify.com. Don't forget to leave a rating and share it with your friends. Together, we can transform more real estate newbies into successful and clever investors. Thank you so much for listening. See you on the next one.